Up to this point on this channel, we've been reviewing e-bikes and e-scooters, and we've been having a lot of fun with them. We've reviewed different shapes and sizes, different configurations, some that look like motorcycles and some of them that kind of look like standard bikes. But in today's video, we're going to check out something that is totally out of left field, and I say that because this is at its core an e-scooter, but on the outside when you're looking at it, it looks like a motorcycle. Not only that, it looks like a badass motorcycle with chrome and black finish that just gives you all of the attention of what you'd expect from a motorcycle. Still powered by electricity, providing us the ability of going up to 50 miles an hour and even a little bit higher than that, which makes this technically something that you need to ride on the street. You can't ride this off-road because, at its core, it looks and functions like a regular bike. This is TK, and we're going ahead and check out the brand new Eahora M1PS chrome and black finish e-scooter slash bike that not only looks great, but rides amazingly. Like and subscribe and make sure you hit that bell icon so that you're always notified to whenever we have new videos for you on the channel. I'm going to start out by saying that I've had this unit for quite some time now, for a few months, and I've been using it on and off. The biggest thing about this is that it actually runs like a regular bike, which means I can't run this on the paseos or the areas where I've always been able to review some of my scooters. I actually have to ride this on the road. The other thing that I also want to mention to you guys, that this, because it actually does, at least in California, because it does go all the way up to 50 miles an hour and it does need to be ridden on the streets, you do need to register it and you do need to actually get a special license plate for it, as well as the ability of actually getting a driver's license for it. Yes, you do technically need to get certified and register this product. Now, the company itself does provide you all the documentations that you need to be able to go through the process, and if you have any questions or need help, they're able to walk you through that process as well. But to start off and talk about, again, what you get in this, essentially it comes with almost like 99% assembled, as we typically see with most of our products. The biggest thing I'll probably say is that the mirrors, the phone holder, as well as the front brake assembly, as well as the actual tire, were not assembled to the bike. But everything else was pretty much already assembled. Oh, and the front 2 foot pedals that we do need to assemble because you need to adjust them to your height. All of that did take me about 20 to 30 minutes once I figured out how to install the brake pad. The actual hydraulics brakes that we have in here on the front and on the back are very nice. Again, the back ones came pre-installed. The front ones, you just need to figure out exactly how to install them. And again, I communicated with the company and they helped me out. But once it was assembled, it looked absolutely amazing. So the finish that we have here is chrome and black, which gives you that nice contrast between the two colors. The shiny chrome is, of course, permeated throughout the bike. But let's not waste too much time. I'm going to take you guys outside real quick and show you guys some of the cool features of the brand new M1PS Chrome Edition. This is not your typical e-bike. This is actually not even an e-bike. This is technically an actual motorcycle that is powered by electricity, because this, for all intents and purposes, runs and actually functions like a regular motorcycle. One of the limitations, though, is that we can only go up to 50 miles an hour, which means we can use this on the street. This is actually intended for the street, not to be used in anywhere an e-bike is typically used. It's a turning radius, and the actual controls are pretty much all mirroring what a regular bike functions. The main battery capacity is sitting at the bottom here. We don't actually have a gas tank, obviously, since this is all electric, but the configuration, the design, the aesthetic, the function, all provide us a bike functionality at its best, and it looks absolutely fantastic, especially in that chrome and black configuration, and it provides us a lot of nice comfort experiences that a regular bike gives us, but also the benefit of having an all-electric powertrain that provides us a very nice long range, and again, up to 50 miles an hour. Looking at it on the front, we have a nice, beautiful big headlight in the front, of course, right under the actual heads-up unit or the head unit. Of course, we have the signal lights again, and we bring it down to our amazing looking tire on the front. Now, this one is very nice. This is about the only one that you do need to install, and you do need to make sure to install it correctly with the disc brake that is positioned on the right side, and of course the configuration for the brake pull on the side here. So all of this is set correctly. Installing it, the hood is also provided separately, and you need to install that separately. But once you have everything installed, it looks and it functions amazingly. We have 2 kickstands for the feet, one on the left, one on the right. Again, those are pretty much just passive, but it is very nice, and you're able to set them up at different offsets, so you don't have to necessarily have them too far, depending on the length of your legs. But overall, everything looks absolutely fantastic. They do have a few different colors available as far as the chrome finish, but the black one looks to be the amazing one, and it provides us that look, that iconic classic look of what we think of a regular bike. Looks really amazing, functions very nice, and of course just gives that nice little classic bike look with all of the power of an e-bike. We have a license plate frame positioned in the back. We have signal lights positioned there, as well as the brake light, as you can see there. An additional one at the top, the hood over the actual bike, and of course, as you can see, the chrome finish is all across. The tires on the back are wider, as you can imagine, for better suspension and handling. We have a nice little kickstand that not only works as a standard kickstand, but also as a automatic shutoff in case that this is actually pushed down, the bike does not turn on, meaning you can't actually accelerate while this is actually down. You have to turn it on, meaning leave it up, and then that'll basically get you to be able to operate the bike. Pushing up a little bit from there, we'll notice that there is a charging port. Now, this charging port is configured to use the adapter that is provided with the actual bike. You can charge either the bike directly in here by using the power adapter, or you can remove the battery from the compartment that we have in here and, of course, charge it separately. We have a dual spring configuration for the suspension, as well as 3 springs or 2 springs positioned for the actual seat. It is a nice thin leather seat mimicking a crocodile configuration, or at least the look here. Very nice and very comfortable. It does have some support in here just for reference. Now, all of this is connected directly into the front of the actual bike. Again, this is purely for aesthetics. There's nothing in here. For all intents and purposes, this is just to make it look more like a bike. But then when we get to the front part of the bike, you'll notice everything again. We're back into the chrome configuration. They do provide us 2 keys. That's going to give us the ability of turning it on. And of course, you just turn on the switch. You notice you hear it right there. The display turns on and you can see all the information in there. There's a little bit of a moniker there, but everything else kind of matches what we've seen before. Again, the look, the aesthetics, the lubrication tanks that are provided here on the right and left handles. Of course, we have the ability of turning on the high beams, the low beams, the configuration for the signal lights that's going to be positioned here, red light, and then of course center. Last but not least is the horn that is positioned as well. Of course, we have brakes and of course a really nice rear view mirror that is all separately provided in the kit, but you can install it very easily. On the right handle, pretty much the same configuration. Here we have the ability of turning on the hazard lights, again, in case you want to be able to park it. Providing the control for the lights, the different modes or the drive mode that we have in here. It gives us the ability going from 1 to 3 and then back to 1. Those are the 3 different options, and that each option has its own speed limit, providing you a different riding experience. Of course, we have the acceleration here. This is the throttle. The beeping here now is because the kickstand is on the ground. We of course have the brakes and the additional mirror here. I also really like the fact that they do include a cover for the entire bike, and as you notice right there, it covers it entirely all the way to the back and all the way from the front. There's even actual straps in there at the bottom to be able to actually get them tighter inside in case you have any kind of experience where there's a lot of wind. And we have a beautiful logo here, of course, just sitting there, providing us that nice little protection in case we want to be able to park our bike, not use it for some time. And that pretty much gives us the ability of protecting our bike whenever we have it parked outside, especially if you're not parking it inside of your garage. This is going to be the best way to protect it from the elements. You could see a little bit of dust here as we've had some rain here, sprinkles. It protects it very nicely. It keeps the chrome very shiny. Of course, we still recommend taking it out every once in a while, and then of course buffing it out just to make sure that it looks great. This entire system is powered by a 4,000 watt brushless geared hub motor with up to 178 Newton meters max torque, meaning when you have it in speed 3 or gear 3 and you're able to go to the maximum speed, you really need to hold yourself because it definitely has the pull. And because of the weight of the actual unit itself, it has a lot of good grip on the ground and acceleration is very nice. The battery that they're using here is a 72 volt 40 amps Samsung lithium battery that again is chargeable either within the actual bike itself or externally by removing it and charging it directly with the included charger. It's rated to go up to 65 to 75 miles per charge depending on the speed that you're going. Obviously, you're not going to be going 50 miles an hour all the time, but it is something to keep in mind. There is 3 different speeds that you're able to go here. Gear 1 gets you up to about 20 miles, Gear 2 gets you to about 37, and Gear 3 gets you to about 50-52 miles an hour, depending on the area that you're in and the inclination, of course. The entire system, or at least the bike itself, is IPX5 waterproof and dust resistant, which means if there's a little bit of rain outside, you should not have to worry about driving it in the rain. The display that we have on this obviously is in the front, the HUD, essentially the heads-up display, and it essentially gives you the LCDs, the speedometer, the odometer, the throttle gears, battery level, and all the information that you need. And of course, it's IP66 rated, so you don't have to worry about any issues with any water getting there. Now, the suspension that we have here is an inverted hydraulic suspension, which essentially works on both the front and on the back, providing us that very nice, comfortable ride. The unit itself is basically obviously not going to be a light one, but it's about 187 pounds for the actual bike itself. It's a heavy-duty steel frame. You're not going to have to worry about it. And the maximum payload capacity can go all the way up to 440 pounds in total, which means you have to keep in mind when you're thinking about the actual weight of the unit itself and then the weight of the rider, so that you make sure that you have the well-balanced experience in here. We have a really high bright lamp in the front, headlamp that you can configure, signal lights on the side, right and left, of course, as well as brake lights, and of course a place for you to be able to place your license plate, because you are going to need a license plate for this. Now, one of the biggest things that actually surprised me when I first got this is essentially in the pictures, it looks a lot bigger than it really is in real life. So this actually kind of rides a little bit low, so more of a low rider type of an experience where your arms are kind of sitting at roughly about your shoulder height. So depending on how tall you are, you also want to be able to adjust the foot pedals to be able to actually get them to the right level. I did end up using the extenders on both the right and left, and the nice thing about them is that you're actually able to open the bump and close them depending if you need them. One thing to mention though, when you're riding it in, when you have those two footings open and you're doing sharp turns, just be mindful of the foot pedals, because it technically does get pretty close to the ground. If you don't feel like you need them, just close them. You can use them kind of in more of a closed configuration. But the attention to detail is what kind of strikes me out of this. Like every time I look at this bike, I'm always looking like, wow. The design, the look, the feel. And again, it is technically an e-bike. It is technically a bike that's powered by electricity. There is no gas. There's no basically any kind of liquid that you need to put in there other than the brake liquids on the top and right side for the handles essentially. And that's going to be basically making sure that everything is lubricated from the front and the rear tire when it comes down to the brakes. Both of them have disc brakes, which is very nice. And it did take me a little bit longer to install the front one, mostly to understand how the actual alignment of I guess the screws that they included in the box. It wasn't clear for me at the beginning, but again, they walked me through it and they helped me get it set up. And again, I've been riding it on and off, again, due to the fact that you need to ride it on the road. It has to be more of a functional ride as opposed to just kind of going off-roading and enjoying it as much as in that sense. So for that purpose alone, it works perfectly fine. Again, up to 50 miles an hour, which means for the most part, that means we can't go on the freeway. But for the most part, most surface roads should be pretty decent. In my area, the maximum street speed here is about 45 miles an hour. So this actually meets all of my surface road experiences to the point. And they do sell, by the way, a few additional accessories on their site if you want to be able to basically have some carriers with you, different configuration for the seat, different colors. The one that I have obviously is the chrome and black, but they have so many other colors and they have a lot of specials as well on their site, especially for Black Friday if you guys are interested in checking them out. For me, it's been a joy. It's beautiful. It's powerful. It's amazing. And every time you ride it, you feel like, wow. I do recommend, of course, making sure you have the right protection gear from the jacket to the helmet that is rated for a bike, not for an e-bike or actually just a scooter. Also, make sure you're wearing gloves. And of course, if you don't go with shorts or anything like that, God forbid something happens, you're definitely going to be better protected when you have something on. So with that being said, I do want to say thank you very much to Eahora for allowing me to check out the M1PS, especially in the chrome and black edition. And of course, if you guys would like to find out more information about it, please check the links in the description below for more details on which option or which configuration or which bike is the right one for you. Again, it's an e-scooter, but it looks like an amazing bike. This is TK. Like and subscribe as usual. And of course, I will see you in the next video.